Greetings. You're watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen, and I have brought in Kotobuki Jake for a special DVD/movie review. You see, there was a series way back in the day. Well, not that far back, but it was called
10 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But it was based on a manga, and I watched it as I watched a lot of series back then through download. And because it wasn't licensed yet here. Then, nothing happened with it, which was very sad. So then I went to read the manga. And you ended up reading the manga, too, to a point. And finally, a Kickstarter by Pied Piper actually came out to bring it to America. And what we're talking about is the series Skip Beat. Now,
you skipped a beat there. He didn't tell you about how long, even after the Kickstarter thing started. That was what, last March and April of last year?
Yeah, it took about a year.
Yeah.
They got like an English cast. They dubbed it. I haven't been able to watch the English dub yet, but they got a top-ranked cast.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Again, Melanie and I think Vic Mignogna's in there and a whole bunch of folks in there. Yeah, actually, we have a listing with that, but
we don't usually do unboxings on this, but
Yeah.
I thought this would be a good chance to show those who haven't gotten a chance to get it to what comes inside this.
Well, first of all, back up a little bit. Skip Beat, this was a show that I don't think I'd ever heard of until he's like, you got to see this show. It's really good. It's really, And we started watching it, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure I saw the whole thing because we kind of got distracted, and when we try to watch shows together, sometimes it doesn't get finished. But I know he watched all of it. But I started reading the manga, and I'm up to number 37 in the Tankobon volumes, and they go way past what the series goes. Yeah. But the basic gist of it is you have Kyoko, who is that one, and that one, and that one.
Good. They have orange hair Kyoko. That's just good.
This is her street persona, I guess you could say. These are her roles. Basically, Kyoko is this girl who grew up madly in love with this guy named Shotaro, who wants to be a rock star. And he just encourages it. He just lets it ride. He doesn't care. He has someone to wait on him hand and foot. He's really a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize this. And he finally moves to Tokyo to make it big. And she, of course, goes with him to be the live-in girlfriend. And before long, things happen. I don't know if you remember particularly what happened. I think
he ends up basically having an affair with the manager.
Yeah.
And then
so basically she catches him cheating, and then he's basically like, well, you know what, we don't need you around anyway. He kicks her, But Kyoko being Kyoko, she wallows in self-pity for what, like 5 seconds?
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
And then basically she's like, instead of moving on like a healthy, normal person, she's like, I'm going to get my revenge by becoming a bigger star than him. The problem is, he's a musician. He knows what he wants to do. She doesn't act. She doesn't sing.
She wants to be bigger than him.
Of course, nowadays, that's not really that big of a stretch. All you got to do is get a reality show, and you don't need a talent.
Or a successful YouTube channel.
Yes. Hint, hint. No. But anyway, so she goes to this talent agency, LME Talent Agency, and she basically tries out for, and they cannot figure out how to use her. She is tremendously skilled in things no one would pay to see. But they don't know what to do with her. But Lori, the weird guy who runs the company, sees something in her and creates a new section basically for her called the Love Me section.
Yep. Love Me.
Which is yes, and this is their logo. One of the bonus features for this, the next stretch goal, I wish I had had the money. I wanted it. Was like you could bright pink or blue jumpsuit. I think for guys it was blue, for girls it was pink. Kyoko's is pink. And it has that logo on it. And they have to go around in this garish jumpsuit. Basically, she's a gopher for the company. Mm-hmm. She does whatever they want her to do. It's kind of humiliating, but the more points she gets, the more she works her way up. Mm-hmm. She eventually things start happening. She gets a role in one of Show's videos. And that's where things really start to change a little bit. And then she gets a role in this movie called TV show called Dark Moon. That's like a remake of an older show. And she takes a completely different take on the role and just explodes in popularity, and everyone loves this Kyoko. That's all no one knows anything about her. Mm-hmm. And I think that's as far as the series goes. Yeah. The manga goes much further. And this guy, Ren, who's skulking in the background, becomes a much bigger player in the manga.
More of a love interest.
Yeah.
But let's show what's inside.
It's a real fun series. It's colorful. I believe the music was really good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a good series. Very well animated. Mm-hmm. I actually, and after we show off what's in the box, we'll do a brief, follows the normal review process of a positive, and then, of course, the negative aspects of the series. But followed by a rating, of course.
And before we get into the box, one of the bonus things that we got with
a cat.
Yes, a Carpy. Hey, Carpy. But we got these little keychains. One of the less glamorous things Kyoko has is a role as a mascot on a variety show. And that's what the keychain is for.
Then there's I got this signed poster.
I don't know what he did to get that signed poster. I didn't get one. I'm very ticked.
Which was of all of the English voice cast, which is pretty cool.
And then there's also this poster that comes folded up inside of the box, but also he got a bonus copy of it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that's your three main leads there, Kyoko, Sho, and Ren. And now to get to the best part.
Dig into the box.
Oh, and one last thing also. This was produced by a little group calling itself Pied Piper.
Yep.
I think their one previous thing was a movie called The Time of Eve. I have not yet gotten that. I'd kind of like to. But
their second project is Aria. Actually, a third project is going to be
Did they do Aria?
They're doing a re-release of Aria with an English dub track.
I didn't realize that was Pied Piper. I thought that was Nozomi.
Nope, they are. They're working with Nozomi because Nozomi owns it, and they have put together the rights, and they got together with them to do it. Matter of fact, Lisa Ortiz is playing one of the characters, which is one of my favorite voice actresses.
You'll be thrilled about that.
Well, I'm not, because I already got the special editions. As you can see them in the background here. Over there.
I almost jumped on the Aria Kickstarter, but it just didn't work for me funding-wise at the time.
Yeah.
But if extra copies become available, like with Time of Eve, extra copies became available. I only have the third part of Aria, or the third and fourth part, the OVA collections, basically. So I need to get the rest of it. So I might spring for a better, especially because it's a Blu-ray release too. But you can see behind us his set. He has nice looking sets for Aria.
Yeah.
But this is a nice set too, and we'll finally get to it. It's your basic chipboard box. It's a DVD Blu-ray combo. They did have an option for DVD only, but we'll be looking at the combo set. This is the, you open it up, and I was a little surprised that the DVD and Blu-ray packages are separate packages inside. But first you have this little wraparound here. And again, this shows, most of the main characters. In addition to the ones we already mentioned, Lori, the company president. Maria and Kanai are also two of Kyoko's. Kanai is a fellow Love Me member.
They don't really do much with the little girl.
They become much bigger players as the story goes on, obviously. And like I said, the poster is a fold up, and there's a little booklet here, little bonus booklet, It's nothing extraordinary, but it does give you some interesting. It's got some of the main voice cast with their role. Caitlin Glass is the main character, Kyoko Mogami. Robbie Damon is Ren Suruga. Grant George is Shofua. Erica Lindbeck is Kanai Kotonami. Mela Lee, who was one of the producers of the whole thing, is Maria Takarada. Christina Vey, who also helped get the whole thing off the ground, gets to play Erika Koenji. And Tali Saint-Jaffe, he was the head director. Yeah.
Woohoo.
And then there's a whole bunch of like artwork, just various artwork things. It's a lot like the little booklets that come with the NIS, but small little paperback rather than the big coffee table ones. And then you got, like I said, your basic DVD and Blu-ray packages. The Blu-ray one looks a lot like a Sentai release, actually. It's got the... And then the DVD one has all the episodes listed. There are features. The DVD has the making of Skip Beat, English Dub, documentary, clean openings and endings.
That's more than your standard anime release.
Actually, it is. Yeah, that looks... And it says, and more. And as backers, we also got a couple like online-only things that aren't really included in here. But one of the coolest things for me, at least, is the backer special thanks insert.
Oh,
both of our names are on there. I love that. Love that.
Me
See, it's like there's me, and
I think mine would be
you.
They actually have my real name.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
And then we got a little Love Me sticker. And an honorary Love Me section member.
Woo!
Yes. And then, and then the discs, you're looking at, these are the DVDs, 4 discs. Kind of your standard, there's more DVD than Blu-ray. Which is why the case is bigger, too. And then, let's see here. I think I had put all the bonus stuff.
But don't confuse it because it's in a Blu-ray case.
Yeah, I know. And you got 3 Blu-ray. And they're, of course, blue.
Woohoo!
Bluish purple, anyway. And it does have your, the wraparound kind of reversible inserts. I never really bother with those. I just kind of leave them as is. But
I have them.
Further artwork.
For my cutting set, I actually did do the reversible for them. I've actually reversed them for that set.
But at any rate... Yeah, we only just got these last week. I have not yet had a chance to play test mine either. Yeah. But I did open, but I didn't get it. Yeah.
Look at mine. Mine's like so tested and worn over like I somehow managed to reseal it with the plastic wrap.
Yeah. Took some skill there.
I know. I'm awesome.
But yeah, I do plan to prioritize this, and actually I do plan to watch the English dub, considering that we helped pay for it. We didn't contribute a lot, but we literally did help pay, so we can say that.
We helped bring this to America.
Yes, and I do plan to watch it and see how it turned out, and I'll rewatch the whole thing in the Japanese as well. From what I've seen before, I guess that's pretty much it for the physical part of it. It was very, very cool to finally get this. Yep. Very cool. I kind of like the artwork. It's kind of, it makes it look like your typical entertainment magazine sort of thing,
Reminds me how they did Genshiken. Because they did that similarly.
And it makes sense, Genshiken's a show about nerds. So, it makes sense to do something like a pop culture sort of magazine.
So, positive about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, I actually really like these types of shows. The first one that I ever saw that was similar to this is Perfect Blue. But Perfect Blue is not the typical idol show. It's more of a thriller type movie. So really the first show I saw in a similar beat to this, and I always thought to this as shoujo's answer to DBZ. Because it's a similar concept. You've got your character who is a decent character, and that character has got a heart of gold, and despite Kyoko's craziness, she does have a good heart and she is a good person.
We forgot to mention one of the main characters of the series.
She doesn't have a heart.
Her little demons. It's something they animate frequently throughout it. Like whenever she's feeling kind of evil or whatever, these little things show up, and it's kind of a running gag in the series that it's almost a superpower she has to creep people out with.
But it's actually pretty good to see this come to light. I mean, I was really impressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
The series is like a lot of them. I mean, you have you have a number of these types of series. Oh gosh, now my mind is not able to remember any of them. But
yeah, I'm hard pressed to think of any.
But
that
there are a number
but
that are similar to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to think really.
You're probably
quickly
trying to
on
think
it.
of Kodacha, right?
Kodacha does have a similar vibe, but not quite
showbiz.
there.
At the
Yeah,
very
it's very
least.
showbiz. So I was thinking about it now, and it's a Kirarin Revolution was one of the first ones of this style, but there's a couple of them similar to this, where you've got this nice character and they are moving up the ladder socially. So they become a social powerhouse as opposed to a like, "Ah!" Bam. Now they're more like, "Ah! I'm an idol!" And that's how they typically do. There are a few others that are similar to this. Like Kaleidostar was one I was trying to think of. There's another one that was in the manga called Honeypot. I did collect that for a while that I thought was really good. So there are a number of these that have come out, and this one was one of the prime ones, one of the early ones. And it really does a great job. You get to really like the characters. All the characters are much deeper. Even the evil person Sho is a lot deeper than he comes across at times.
Right.
And as you move on towards it, towards the story in the manga, you get to learn more about him, about his motivations, as he gains a slight bit more maturity. It gives you a little bit more depth to the characters. And, of course, the animation and voicing was really well. I don't know how they did in the dub, but, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have positive to say about our...
Well, I think you covered a lot of it. I've been reading it through the library, so I have to make do with the fact that they're very slow about picking up new volumes. But I've enjoyed what I've read. It's one of the few full-blown shoujo ones I've read. I was just mentioning to him another one that vaguely reminded me of it that they've not yet animated that I know of is A Devil and Her Love Song. But it's a really fun one. I wish they had finished it. It's probably not too late to get everyone back together and do a second season. Maybe the renewed interest in the States will. Yeah, who knows? We can hope. I've been kind of thinking, wouldn't it be nice if this interest did lead to another season? There are shows that desperately need to be finished.
Yeah.
But from what I know, this one at least ends on a pause, right?
It does end on a pause.
Yeah.
It's, to me, I feel like it ended too soon. It left a lot of things unresolved. It really is one of those anime that you read and then you go right into the manga to continue the story. I mean, there are characters that you really don't get. You don't get into one of the major plot arcs, which to me, I think if they had ended it after the next plot arc that followed, it would have been a more solid ending.
What was the name of that production?
I can't remember, but it was but I remember that it was one that had to do with she had to play a character type, and she had to really move out of her boundaries. And to me, that was one of the best ones.
She basically played a queen bee of a group of bully sort of characters. It was very different. Like this one that got her all the buzz was a much quieter role. If I remember correctly, it was kind of like
she made it her own, and that was the concept.
Yeah.
And she improved as she went along. But I really think that was the point where it really turned around, where you got to see more of the true her coming back, the real her, instead of this kind of loveless persona that she had become. Then, of course, you miss out on characters like the Beagles, as she calls them, which is one of these goth-type metal bands that is... it's just, to me, it's a hilarious thing. I wish that they had actually kept going. But considering that that's the only downside of this for me, is that I wanted more, that's not, it's not a terrible thing.
And the unfortunate downside, of course, is that the show is still not in regular commerce here.
Yeah.
But, again, maybe this bit of interest, either Pied Piper might be able to do more with it, or perhaps Nozomi Lucky Penny will be, okay, well, we'll do a second pressing down the line.
I think this will actually...
that would be good.
I think this will earn it another pressing down the line. This one, unfortunately, will probably not be easily available if you weren't getting in on it. But please look out for this as you surf the interwebs.
And look out for more stuff from this company and see if we can. We've said this on this channel. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. We need American releases for Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. Or Goodbye, Mr. Despair. The whole franchise. We want all of it.
Yep.
And we want
Tenchi... In this size box.
Yes. Tenchi no Kanamaeki. Cheeky Angel. We need that one. And we need the Rumik World Series. And we really need another release that anyone can afford, and not just people who are stupid rich, of Meizan Nikoku.
Aniplex gets the rights to re-release them.
And Viz has the rights, so I don't really see that happening, but you never know.
I can see Viz releasing the rights.
Not to mention all the shows where OVAs are getting missed, like Kino's Journey and Negima. And with all the releases of To Love Ru, they've still missed one of the OVAs, haven't they? So there's a lot of stuff that still needs pickups. Maybe this company will do it, maybe someone else will, but this is a fun way to do it for anime fans, you know?
Move forward, people.
Yes.
So, with that being said, my rating is a solid 8 out of 10. Now, I would give it higher, but I feel like it's missing a little bit of being that. It's just shy of being that. I would say if it had gotten that extra storyline in, I probably would have given it a 9 out of 10. It really didn't need to go as far as the manga has gone so far. The manga is still being released, if I remember correctly, and after a while, it does get tired. I mean, one of the things, I used to love that one that you mentioned, well, like Kyoran Revolution, which I thought went on a little bit too long. It kind of, because it starts to drag when you make so much, you do so well and you're moving forward, but then you say, we need to pause because we want to make more. And it just stagnates a little bit. So I do think that it wouldn't have taken much. Maybe like another 14 episodes, or if you made it a 50-episode series, and there are a lot that will get to that length. I think that would have been more than enough to really just capture it, make it a good standalone. You wouldn't need the manga after that, and it would work out well. But that's my reason for giving it an 8. What would you give it out of 10?
Well, considering that I'm not positive I saw the whole thing, I can't really give a good rating. But from what I've seen and what I know of it, I think 8 sounds like a good, solid rating. What I saw, I thoroughly enjoyed. And it's a good, fun show. It's well worth watching. Like I said, the story is fun. It'd be nice if they'd gone further, but from what I remember, it was pretty faithful to the point they got to, right? Or at least the parts I saw.
Yeah.
It was pretty faithful, which is always nice, if you are a fan of the manga, to be able to see a pretty fair representation of it on screen, So, yeah. Provisional 8.
So, if you like this, of course, click like. If you want to, subscribe. We appreciate it. We're up to like 20-some subscribers now. So, we got another one over the weekend, matter of fact.
Very good.
Yeah, very happy with that. Right. And, of course, share this with your friends. If you've seen the series, if you're another recipient of this collection, feel free to comment. What were your favorite things about it? Did you get the jacket? I've seen a couple people with the pink jacket online. It looks interesting. I just couldn't pay the 200 Rangers. It's just a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already paying an Aniplex price right here for this thing.
Yeah, but it's a nice set.
It is a nice
comparatively
set.
speaking. But yeah, and definitely, and also if you're watching this again, you should put in your 2 cents about what shows need to maybe get the Kickstarter treatment. And definitely we want to build interest in these shows and get them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a top 10 of series that really do need a complete anime release.
2 others that I don't think there's much likelihood because I don't know what the fan base is out there, but I like them and I would get them. Detective Academy Q. It's a long series. It's an older series, but it has great music and it's passably entertaining detective type series. Mystery, kids solving mysteries kind of series. And a very, 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 very short series. You can literally watch each season in an hour. I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. I love that show. I don't think I've gotten to see the 2nd season, but that would be something that I'd love to see a release, but I'm not
Back
holding
in the
my
days
breath.
of Final Approach. But yeah, I'd love to see an Android on a Mako. I think it's 2010 or whatever it is, which was made in the early 2000s. So I guess they thought, ooh, this will be the future, and we'll have androids doing radio shows.
And Kieran Kazukiniki.
Oh, of course, that's
That
a
would be a
weird
good
one, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one.
All right.